Hello, my grots and gits. Well, as promised, here is our list. We're going to be breaking down the new AdMech detachments. And we have the glorious bearded one, Mr. Shetzel in the house. He is an AdMech specialist. He just recently took them to the WCW. He is a terror in the Norwegian meta, and he's going to be helping us out because, gotta be honest with you, I know a lot about Warhammer, but AdMech sometimes escapes me just a wee bit. I know just enough to be more afraid of them than most people are. And so Shetzel's going to help us out with this one. Thank you, Mr. Shetzel, for joining us. Why don't you break down
Yeah.
this first list for us and just kind of give us the rundown for how everything works, maybe before we actually get super into the breakdown.
Right. First of all, there are some elements that are common between all three of these lists.
Yeah.
Which I think sort of symbolize like a core of this detachment. So there are 3 enhancements, and 2 of them are used in every single one.
Yep.
That is the cognitive reinforcement, which is, the thrall net just on a single unit all the time.
Nice.
And the inloaded lethality, which means that the tech priests actually hit in melee.
Okay.
So you have the melee tech priest, the Dominus with the electro priest, -1 the wound, 4 feel no pain. They hit, decently hard.
But it's the -1 to wound and feel no pain that you take them for, and you might as well take this in addition to it. Is that what it is?
No, you take them for like the fact that they can now actually project their damage upwards.
Okay.
Because
cool.
there's a strat that effectively gives you assault ramp on demand.
I see. Okay, cool.
So they go in a Dune Rider. They don't get the reroll to wound because that's only the shooting phase. A lot of people miss that.
Gotcha.
Then you have the Corpus Cari, and they will go with the Manipulus, with the both doctrines. That means that they will always hit on 2s when shooting. They will always have the possibility to get the extra AP if they're near battle line. And they will always hit on, I believe it is 3s in melee. I think they hit on 4 space melee.
Okay.
But the big thing is, all their weapons have sustained 2.
Nice.
And with the Manipulus, they are also lethal. And
okay.
then, if you combine that with the strat to give 5 up criticals, then you have lethals and sustained on 5s on a unit that hits on 2s, with the opportunity to also hit a reroll once to hit and wound.
And it just
but you get full wound rerolls because they're in the other Dune Rider, of course. But
casual basically is what you're saying.
That's like, oh, here's an orc unit. I struggled killing an orc unit earlier today. I wish I was playing this detachment, because then you look at the orc unit and it
Bye.
like, oh, you got 20 knobs. Here, dice.
All right.
And then
So that's like basically one of the things that this detachment can just do. So we're going to see putting that same combo on multiple different units, and we're going to see it break down a couple different times over the list. So why don't we talk about this first list, which we are... Oh, go ahead.
The first one here, right?
The Autobots.
There is a detachment in the AdMech Codex called Cybernetica cohort. What it does is that it gives doctrines to Cybernetica cohort units. That's all it does. That's the detachment.
The detachment is you get your army roll.
Yes. So now instead we can just pay 30 points and get that detachment on a unit.
Spicy.
I'll pay 30 points to get like a whole extra detachment.
Spicy.
So they get the doctrines. A lot of people missed that when they first read it. They thought it only gave the Halo override, but it also gives the doctrines. That's the key word. And like the important thing here, right, is that means that you still get to pick 2 units that are not the robots for the Halo. They will always have the Halo, and then 2 other units will have it as well. So now we're up to 3 units that can benefit from it. And then there's a strat that either lets you get a 4th one, like you discussed in your earlier video, or you can double it up on them. So that means that we have this large brick of robots, right? They are tough. They are very, very tough. Like T9, 7 wounds, 2 up save, 5 up invul.
Mm-hmm.
Then you bring the Engineer, who's lone up near them, so you can't really shoot him away.
Oof.
In your command phase, he'll give one of them a 5-up Feel No Pain,
It's
and
beautiful.
repair D3 if they've lost anything.
Beautiful.
That means that it's very safe to use the strat that gives you a second one on them, because you take D3 models, but you have a 5-up Feel No Pain, and you can repair in the next turn, right?
That's so good.
So now, maybe they move 8, and they're toughness 10 because of Aegis. Or they move 8 and their toughness 11.
Because you
Or
use the
they're
how do you get the toughness 11 real fast? Just so people see it.
because the Datasmith can, like, they start with an extra toughness in the Aegis protocol.
Mhm.
And then you have the Conqueror protocol that gives them 2 attacks in melee, or the whatever protocol that gives them 2 extra attacks in shooting. You probably never go to that.
Right.
You probably stay in Aegis until you like want to bonk some Custodes or something.
Right.
And then you just have at it with like 24 strength 12 AP 4 damage 3 twin linked weapons hitting on 3s.
Yeah, because at that point you can get them to T11 with stealth, basically.
Yes,
Right.
T11 with stealth.
Right.
Advantage shoot on their flamers. So you will take them with flamers there, I think.
And the 5-up Feel No Pain and the heal, and it's like, okay, this is a chunky ass unit. Got it. Right.
Yep. So their plan is to just not die, sit on an objective, and then late game push in and mop up, right?
Sure.
And then the rest of the army is basically just like trash unit and shooting to support this idea that you will go around score with the infiltrators and the skystalkers. You'll like interrupt some stuff. You have 6 Ballistari to shoot at things. So you just keep doing that, and then you just mop up with the robots as you go, right?
And the Belisarius, remember everybody, they also get to benefit from that crit on 5s because they naturally crit on 6s for sustained hits on their last cannons. So those bad boys,
Yes,
you can
sir.
get them hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s to hit, rerolling 1s to wound, sustained hits on 5s with freaking las cannons. So 6 las cannons shots basically every single time. It's going to end up with 8 las cannon shots, and it's not hard to spike, right? Sometimes spikes happen.
Yep.
It's brutal.
And like it should be said, all of these lists are designed to sit in Conqueror all the time. I'm a guy that likes to just sit in Conqueror, except against orcs, basically.
We just played a AdMech Orcs game, so he's salty.
Oh no.
No, he's not salty. I'm the one who's being a dick in this relationship.
But it is proof that I too can bleed.
That was not with this detachment though. This detachment would have probably smashed it. So that's round 1. We've got the Stellan robots. We've got 2 Dune Riders to be able to proc reroll wound rolls. We've got the Electro Priests who have crazy sustained shooting with their pistol shots. We've got the Fulgurite Electro Priests who actually really want to make use of the Dune Riders get out after it moves to charge stratagem because they actually slap in melee pretty hard. We've got a lot of really interesting stuff here. That's the Autobots. Let's talk about list number 2.
Yep. And for those that like are like iffy on the damage on those Fulgurites,
Yeah.
on like an average roll, they kill a Demolisher tank. So just saying.
Yeah, anything that kills a Lehman Russ on a freaking average roll is hits pretty freaking hard.
Yep. One of our problems is dealing with things like Sandguard. So
Yep. All right, so second list, number featuring. This is called featuring because we got the big boy himself, Mr. Belisarius Cawl. Chateau, what does Mr. Belisarius Cawl bring to us, and why is this list a little bit different? I see some breachers, if I'm not mistaken.
So this guy, Cawl, he is like our big leader. So he is like the defined warlord. He is lone up when he is within 3 of any AdMech.
Sick.
Which is, nice. He's a monster. He benefits a little bit from like being able to advance and charge, +2 move or plus toughness, right? So because he gets to like toughness 9, which is like a decent breakpoint against certain guns, against certain melee. Power fists wounding on 5 is nice. His like typical leaders have like 3 abilities to pick from. You have one that almost never gets used. I think it has some interesting uses in this detachment to give cover, which is like, well, okay. Cover is nice on like GW or UKTC or something. Big one though. Countess battle line and +1 leadership for all battle shock tests and leadership tests around him.
That's huge.
A lot of the abilities in AdMech trigger from battle line, including the AP and -1 to hit in Conqueror and Protector. Things like reroll to wound for sterilizers, and in this case, the reroll to hit for Cataphrone Breachers. So the idea here is that you have a very interesting gun line in a sense.
Because he's lone up, but he's also giving them the reroll thing, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
which means that you're
That's
a little
sick.
bit more free with your like Rangers and Vanguard
Sick.
to go do things. So we have the same infantry clearing Corpus Gari, we have the same brawly Fulgurites. The Cataphrons are another unit that actually brawl pretty good. Getting them from T7 to T8 kind of matters.
Using the Halo override thing.
Yes, sir. Giving them +2 move matters a lot.
Because they're slow, right?
Because then, yeah, they move 5.
Right.
So that means that they could potentially move 7 and full clear a wall, shoot and charge something.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because you probably wouldn't use the D3 mortals just in case you kill one of them. Maybe if you want to risk it for like an advance and charge. But even then, right? If you move 5 and advance and charge with assault guns that reroll to hit with lethals, that's also good.
Not bad, man.
They are anti-vehicle 4-up, and if they can go to AP3, that's pretty good.
Oh, because the battle line thing gives them the extra AP. Oh,
exactly.
So we're seeing the combos start to really come together with this. Okay.
Exactly. So like that's the thing with Breachers before, because they were like AP2. They were like the only good shooting we had because they had the rerolls and lethals. They were only AP2, so AOC and cover was like. But now they probably like, if they're within rapid fire range, they probably like full kill Custodes unit ish.
And they're still getting the lethal, right? They're still getting the lethal
Yep.
in this, and so that stacks with the 5-up for the exploding 5s that you get to fish for. So basically, everything's going to be wounding.
Yeah, pretty much.
Brutal. Yep.
The interesting pick here is the destroyers.
Yeah.
Because you don't really see them.
Yeah, pitch me on this.
So I do not give an enhancement. I'm unsure about where to give the enhancement. Because if you give them to the breachers, they rapid fire at 18 inches, which is significantly better than 15, right? If you're not fully aware of that, the difference between a 15-inch rapid fire and an 18-inch rapid fire means that you can probably shoot something and be very safe the next turn.
Yeah.
If you have to get those 3 extra inches, that means that you go from like maybe like a 10-inch charge to a 7-inch charge, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot more doable.
And the just a clip for everyone, since this is all new, the enhancement we're talking about is Sanctified Ordnance. For 10 points, you get to add 6 inches to the range characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit, and each time a hazardous is taken for the unit, you get to reroll the result. So basically, it's reroll hazardous and plus 6 inches. This is actually very strong.
And that's why I want to try and give it to the Cataphront destroyers.
Okay.
And then maybe run a little bit more like Protector style to make them hit on 3s and 2s when they get a good firing lane.
Just because most people don't know AdMech, why don't you tell them why on the destroyers? Like, what is their gun?
So the destroyers have a 4-shot plasma cannon that, if they are in Conqueror, is AP4.
Oof.
And they have another gun, which is a flamer.
Yep.
So that flamer gets pushed out to 18-inch range, and the plasma cannon to 42, which means that these guys can just basically go like, you're not going in this general area, right?
Yeah. And because it is a plasma, and the reason why you want to able to reroll the hazardous is those plasmas are hazardous when you supercharge them to get them to damage too.
Sir, so they're like we're gonna mop up Marines type of cannon.
It's also worth noting to everyone that they Overwatch on 5s and not 6s, which is really, really sick.
Yep.
So it gives you a lot of flexibility. I like it.
Yeah, they don't have anything like special outside of that, but I think it's interesting to have like the 3 really significant firing bases for like medium stuff. Because one of the things we struggle with is 2-up AOC, and this list bodies 2-up AOC.
And do you have them with a character that gives them lethal as well?
Yes, they also have the Manipulus. That is a Manipulus. That's a Manipulus with the range enhancement.
That's
so it like you can swap that around depending on what you're facing. If you're facing like knights, probably put the lethal guy or the plus range guy on the breachers.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Then we look at it, the other good stuff. We've got the Skystalkers and the Infiltrators. Because Infiltrators are awesome, and those things hit a lot harder than you might think. And then we have the Ballistari, because Ballistari freaking rock in this detachment, and then 2 transports. Sick. I love it.
Yep.
Let's look at the
a thing to consider as well.
Hmm?
The Dune Riders do also have sustained 1 on their stubbers that are twin linked. So that is also a significant infantry clearer just in the transport alone.
I mean, there's a time where you might want to have them crits on 5s. I can get that. Let's
Yes,
go on to this last list. So I think we all have generally the idea of how the units are going to run in the detachment. So let's run through this one. This is called the big guy. Break this one down. We've seen most of the stuff, but there's one thing in particular that's a little different.
So this is a thing that a lot of people have been talking about and a lot of people have been noticing throughout the day. What this detachment says, and I'll read it out. In your command phase, select 1 or more units from your army, including units that are embarked within transports, and then the maximum blah 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 until the start of your command phase. You gain the Halo override thing, right? That just says army. It does not say Adeptus Mechanicus unit in your army.
Yep.
That means that technically, right now, you can give a big knight advance charge or toughness 13.
And just to jump in here real quick, I saw a lot of people commenting on the video earlier. They're like, "Oh, this is obviously going to be changed. It's clearly a mistake." It's like I don't know, because everything else is very clearly worded in detachments. They haven't really messed up on the detachment rule for really anything. So I don't understand why everyone's saying this is clearly a mistake. It looks pretty clearly written. Like they could go back and change it. I'm not saying that's impossible, but it's not clearly a mistake.
There are 2 things in this detachment that might get changed.
Sure.
One of them is that the big knights benefit from this, and like this is potentially huge because like either you have Canis or you have a Lancer, and a Lancer moving 14 inches. The Gallant only moves 10, right?
12.
Yeah, but the Lancer moves 14.
Hits on 2s.
Lancer moves 14 and has a 4-up invul always.
It's true, but the Gallant hits a lot harder.
Yeah, but the Lancer has a 4-up invul that kills things that we want it to kill.
I understand.
And you like a toughness 13 with a 4-up invul.
I'm just saying the reason why I argue. All right, we'll do this off screen. Keep going. Carry on.
Yeah, I mean there's options, right? You can do everything. You can have like a big Dominus style knight as well, right? Totally. Just a big firing base with the big plasma gun and shit.
Porphyrion.
Like, dude, you oh god, what's the base toughness on?
It's 13, so you go to strength T14 on it.
Yeah, or it's T13 with stealth.
Carry on, just go through the list.
Stealth and a 2-up.
Go through the list, you mad lad.
Alright, obviously we're spending a lot of points on Canis. That's why we need a lot of other shit here, right? You have 2 sterilizers, you have 2 Skystalkers, you split the Ballistari into 4, you have a big 10 mana Skystalkers, because now they move 14 potentially, and then advance, and then shoot, and then move another 6. So now they're standing in your opponent's deployment zone instead of outside it. So you just like say, okay, you just fool around in your own deployment zone, and I'll just go take the board and get ready for when you get out sometime. Because now they also have a reactive move whenever you move inside your deployment zone.
Spicy. Which
means that you can just like move away from the units that shoot it dead. So you have to like commit some melee to get rid of them and get out. But then you just lose that because now you're on the other side of the walls. It's very painful to deal with, as you've probably seen in a lot of our earlier AdMech videos.
And then you have to deal with a staged Canis Rex who's going to come out and advance in charge and just smash some stuff. So if this is real, and I think it's real. I don't understand. I know everyone's saying that it's not real, but I don't know why. But I think this is intentional. Then Canis Rex is a real decision, or the Gallant, or the Lancer. Probably not the Porphyrion.
Yep. I mean, I think I prefer the Canis because the 2-up AOC shooting profile in addition to the fighting. I think the combo of it all is neat.
Well, Canis doesn't have a 2-up, right?
No, but I mean like the 2-up AOC problem that we have.
Okay, the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, I think I agree with that. All right, guys, so this is going to be 3 AdMech lists. Give them a try. They're all pretty awesome. If you're interested in AdMech, make sure you jump in the members only Discord because that's where we've been going through this stuff all freaking day. And Shetzel is a mad lad and has been cooking like crazy to bring you guys the best quality stuff that we possibly can this early in. There's obviously going to be some changes to the list as the meta develops because it's going to need some practice, but this is 3 places for you to get started. If you want more information, make sure you join the Happy Crumpin' Wargaming server. You can join as a YouTube member or as a member on Coffee. The links are in the description down below. Shetzel, thanks so much for coming on, and thank you guys for showing up. Until next time, crump on. Bye-bye.